Well, thank you. What a great duologue this was. I could have listened another half hour, but I was thinking, it's great that we come back together in person because this kind of energy level you could not get through Zoom or any other online session. So it's great to see you all. And I think one of the only positive outcomes of the pandemic is that we do appreciate things that we used to take for granted previously. So coming back to conferences and speaking to all of you in person is something that I appreciate much more than before. So we have a great panel today, but before we do that, let me thank the Marriott team for hosting us here, and also the Radisson team for a lovely reception yesterday evening. Today we have a great panel to talk about a topic that was really keeping me awake at night when I was at PIF. It was not so much the many hotels that we had under development, but it was how will we be ready to populate all those hotels with Saudi talents. And my first panelist, whom I'm calling on stage, is Ahmad Darwish. Ahmad, from the Red Sea Development Company and AMAALA. So Ahmad is now holding the position of Chief Administrative Officer. And prior to that, Ahmad spent 20 years at Saudi Aramco. He is a certified member of the Project Management Institute and the Saudi Council of Engineers. And he holds a bachelor's degree in electric engineering from the University of Portland, and also a master's degree also in electronics and electronic engineering from the University of Glasgow. Great to have you on the panel, Ahmad. Look forward to Chief Operating Officer for the Middle East and responsible for 150 properties and 19 a pipeline. Worked across the globe, like many hoteliers, in Asia, Middle East, Africa, and Europe. And he's also loaded with degrees, MBA from Northwestern University, a degree in leadership from Harvard University, and a postgraduate diploma from the very well-known Oberoi Center of Leadership and Development. So welcome to you also, Sandeep. So let me kick off this session and put things into perspective. Where's the clicker, by the way?
I think
it is. Oh, thank you.
Is it this one?
Let's have a look at a couple of numbers. So this is what the Ministry of Tourism projects for the next now 8 years in terms of our needs in a kingdom for tourism talent. As you can see, the numbers basically triple. A big part of that will be hospitality. So more than half of that number is hospitality talent. Now, we call the session Challenge or Opportunity. Where's the challenge? The challenge is, of course, that leisure tourism and hospitality are pretty much a nascent industry in the kingdom. So, hospitality training is still in development. There are some training opportunities already there, but by far not enough compared to what we need. But it's also an opportunity because hospitality nowadays is all about authenticity. And we have the great opportunity to populate our hotels with local talent, which if you look at other hospitality markets in the region, a lot of talent is imported by necessity. So here in Saudi Arabia, we have a great labor pool, but we have to be ready for all these hotels that are opening. By the way, when you looked at the program, you saw that we also had Bandar Al-Safir from the Ministry of Tourism to join us today, but he could not make it. So, Ahmad, let me start with you. Every time I open my newsfeed, I see a press release from the the Red Sea project for a partnership with Prince Morgan University, KAUST, very much focused on human capital development. So can you shed some light about all the initiatives that are going on in your company?
First of all, welcome. Is the mic working? Okay.
It's working, yes.
First of all, welcome to the audience. Let me start by introducing the Red Sea project and the AMAALA project. At the Red Sea Development Company, we're responsible for 2 giga projects, wholly owned by PIF. And these giga projects are game changers in the hospitality sector, game changers in the tourism sector. And let's start with the Red Sea project. It's the most ambitious tourism project in the world. It compromises of 90 islands, pristine islands, a coastline of 200 kilometers. We have dunes, we have mountains, we have volcanoes, all in one location. This project is on the way. We are in the stage of vision realization. There's construction at site. We have villas in the islands. We have villas in the dunes. We're ready to welcome our guests within a year, inshallah, from now. So the project is making moves. And you would see those announcements as a result of the progress of the work. So a lot is happening. Keep following us. You will see more and more announcements. Today we made a big announcement for 3 brands that are joining us. Some of which are the first in Saudi. Some are for the first time in the Middle East. And it's exciting, honestly. It's exciting for me as a Saudi to see that attention, to see that excitement about the project. The other project is AMAALA project, which is supposed to be the wellness hub, inshallah, of the world. And a lot of progress has happened on the ground already, ground preparation, site preparation, and readiness. And the next contracts that we're signing is for the assets to be built and to be ready. And that's in the Triple Bay area. So the combination of those 2 projects raises opportunities. And the total number of jobs both projects will create is 120,000 jobs, between direct and indirect. So in the Red Sea project, we're opening partnerships, and we would like to uplift the institutes in the kingdom. UPM, as you mentioned, which is the University of Prince Migrin Al Madinah Munawwara, we signed a partnership with them to bring international hospitality bachelor degree. We have 120 scholarship students that joined that program, and they are already in their 3rd year now. They are doing an amazing job. This program has continuously improved. We increased our engagement with the students. We looked after them, and we saw how they're progressing. There were challenges. We paved those challenges. We assigned a person dedicated for them, and now those students are participating in international events, actually, and critical events like Formula One, FII, Saudi Green Initiative, also in the Saudi cruise. Our students were participating in this. So it's great to see them working. The other initiative we worked on is the elite program. We got the fresh graduates to come and look at the jobs where we have challenges to find Saudis in the market. And we brought them in as fresh graduates, and we coupled them with a mentor and an expert in that discipline. Now we have 110 in that program. These are the future leaders in our organization, inshallah. And we're very proud. The feedback we get from their mentors, their bosses, is that we want more. So we started with 30, then another 30. This year we increased the number to 50, and we're going to increase more. Because the mandate, as I told you, started with Red Sea, then AMAALA, and now we are mandated to look after the whole Red Sea coastline. So a lot is coming in that field. And the last one I want to tell you of the initiatives, and the most critical one, honestly, is the vocational training. This is where we will need most of the staff in the future. We started with 500 students. It's a partnership, again, with HRDF. And it's a program that you educate them on vocation, but at the end of the day, we hire them. We confirm their employment. So we started with 500. Last week at site, in our hotel, Turtle Bay Hotel, we were able to sign another 1,000. So this is excitement. This is excitement for us, and we're really proud of these partnerships.
That's great to hear, and I'm particularly happy to hear that you also focusing on vocational training, because that was my perception when I came to Saudi Arabia, was that there was a lot of focus on management training, on partnership with the universities, but less maybe on the vocational side. And yet, if you look at all these big numbers, more than 80% of that is actually vocational, entry level, right? And many of them guest facing. So it's very important that we focus on that. So Sandeep, I believe you have 36 properties in Saudi Arabia and about as many in the pipeline?
Correct, absolutely.
So you're clearly a key player in the kingdom. And I know that the cluster general manager of the Ritz-Carlton Riyadh and Jeddah, Mohammed Mahralani, is a Saudi. So I worked with him quite closely when I was at PIF. You recently announced female general manager at the St. Regis in Riyadh, right?
True.
So you clearly also have human capital development on your agenda. What are the other initiatives that Marriott has undertaken, particularly for Saudi Arabia?
Sure. I think first I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the government. I mean, the whole expansion and the whole country leading its way with the Vision 2030 into tourism as a focus, I think is super exciting. I mean, you look at Middle East, certainly Saudi Arabia now stands out in terms of all the plans for tourism. So I think a big first thank you to the Kingdom, and I think we should give a big hand to the Kingdom for the Vision 2030. You stole a bit of my thunder by sharing about the first female leader, and I just wanted to have a link to the previous two female leader panelists, and it was quite a inspiring conversation. And yes, we recently announced our first female general manager in the kingdom, and she'll be opening the St. Regis in Riyadh. But there are a lot of firsts, and talking about human capital, which is an important piece. And when we see the jobs tripling by 2030, we feel as Marriott there is a strong need to develop a lot of local leaders. So our answer to this need has been a program which we call Tehseen. You rightly said we have 36, over 35, 36 hotels open. We have equal numbers in the pipeline. And in fact, the most recent that we announced this week was with our partners on the right, with Red Sea itself. We announced the first Ritz-Carlton Reserve project not only in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, but in the Middle East, which will be on the Red Sea. So we are fast in the expansion phase, like the rest of the kingdom in terms of the projects that are coming up. So we feel there's a need to grow local talent, and that will be a big focus in terms of developing not only people who will join at the entry level, something you were talking about, but also at the leadership level. I think success to me would look like when you're taking the name of the general manager of Ritz-Carlton Riyadh and Ritz-Carlton Jeddah, who's a Saudi national. That's one success, but I think success will be when we'll have multiple leaders who will be leading the hotels, who will be general managers of these hotels. So we have come up with a program called Tehseen, which we launched in 2018. It's a joint program between Marriott and Cornell University. It's a good combination of both theory and on the job. So we're taking up young talent who are Saudi nationals who are interested in this field to grow. We're taking them through a fast-track program to make them the leaders of future. So for example, we are opening a project in Jeddah on the F1 track, the Edition Hotel, which will be the first one in the kingdom. And the hotel manager there is a Saudi national who's grown from this program. So you've had about 110 leaders to date graduate from this program, and about 80% of them, in fact, are today in leadership positions in our hotels in Saudi Arabia. And what's interesting is, tying to our previous two panelists, the last batch, which we just recently started, 60% of the Tehseen students were female candidates. And that's really heartening to see. So
that's great. 60%.
60%. Over 60% were female candidates who joined the program and are going to be the leaders of tomorrow.
That's great. Well, myself working with the Ministry of Tourism quite closely, I know that there are a lot of initiatives going on, also regarding, and we spoke about it in the previous duologue, the attractiveness of the industry, because it's one thing to have all the training programs in place, but we also need applicants for these training programs. So the ministry has developed school visits where the youngsters and their parents, because by the way we need to convince not only the school graduates that hospitality is a great career or tourism is a great career, but also their parents, right, who are part of the decision, and make them come into schools and into hotels, make the schools come into hotels, and get them feel what hospitality is about, and also offer short internships in those hotels so that they can spend 3 days in a hotel and really confirm the initial interest for the industry, and if yes, which department they would prefer. We spoke about the role of humans in hospitality and the changing nature of it, Sandeep. One thing that makes Saudi Arabia's hospitality market different is that the biggest part of the hotels are coming, right? So we have an opportunity to think holistically from the beginning. So our sector is dealing a lot with legacy systems, right, in technology. We are basically have the opportunity to have a state-of-the-art technology set up from the beginning and find a completely new combination between the warmth of human service and the power of technology. I know you have strong views on that. So can you explain a bit what it is?
Interesting to be talking about technology when we're talking about human capital, but I think the word balance comes to my mind first. Talking about technology, one is seeing a lot of technology get into the hotel space as well. For example, today when we look at Marriott, we have a loyalty program called Marriott Bonvoy. We have over 163 million members. And I must say, whenever one is traveling and you look at the number is only growing and multiplying. 163 members can go on a Marriott app, book a hotel, find the different options in the city, book a room, book a location, use points or pay for it, check in on arrival or pre-arrival or at the airport, use the mobile phone as a key card, and they don't need to even touch the reception if they don't wish to. Get to the hotel room, use that phone as a key card, and the following in terms of if they have a request, just WhatsApp or message through that app and check out and have the bill reach the system. So I think it's a seamless process which has come in, and technology is coming in different ways. I mean, for example, if we look at our region today, more than 70% of our hotels have this technology enabled in the hotels, and that helps. We're also opening this summer, actually, our Marriott headquarters, a new building in Washington, and a whole floor is dedicated to Marriott design, is what we call it, where we're going to experiment with technology. How cool would it be that if you check into another city in a hotel and the room itself picks up what temperature you like, what lighting you like, what TV channel you like, and also the fact that the bulb might go fuse in the next few hours, and we as a hotel know it and we change it before time. So I think there is a lot of engagement of technology and personalization which is to happen. But I would get back to what we were talking earlier. I think there's a balance required because end of the day, our industry is about people. It's about creating experiences. It's a business of happiness. And it's not only in the leisure space. I would say that I'm talking about creating memories. Today, when you travel for business, we are all here in this room, and we've had either a good or a bad experience. We want to have a memory even when we're traveling for business. So we are in that business of creating memories, creating happiness. And with this whole COVID, I think business and leisure travel has come together. I think we had already started to see people come in a resort and say the Wi-Fi speed needs to be more to find out that they're working. And in city hotels, people asking for the spa because they want to take a break. So it's kind of coming together, what we call leisure. So I think the focus of all this is people. End of the day, people will have to create these memories. And there is no substitute, in my opinion, to meeting in person. You just mentioned about it initially, that we are all here meeting in person, that creates energy. So I would say people are the most important to the industry. So yes, there's a balance required between technology and people, but if I had to choose one, sorry to move away from your question, it's going to be people.
Absolutely. I think we, most in the room would agree with that. The beauty is that technology can really enrich the role of the humans, right?
Absolutely.
It can provide support, it can enable us to be even better hosts. And to me, the big question is how do we prepare our human talents to really harness the power of technology to deliver these personalized experiences.
I think I'll just add one more thing to what you just said, that if you look at Marriott, fortunately we have our partners in this room and our different ownership groups, and they've invested in hotels. We don't own hotels, we manage. All we own is brands. And these brands are brought to life by people again. So just driving home that point. If today we walked in and we've had a good experience, I think we would say Marriott is a great hotel. And if we didn't, unfortunately, hopefully it hasn't happened, you would say Marriott isn't. So I think people bring those brands to life. So again, it just drives home the focus of our subject that we're discussing, people.
Absolutely. So, Ahmad, when we had our conversation prior to this panel, I asked a question about the location of Red Sea, right? Because many perceive it as a remote location, but you said, no, look, there's a lot of communities where we are, and we work very closely with them.
Yes.
How does it work?
Well, back to the discussion, it's all about people, correct, but it's also about authenticity. These people are by default hospitable. If you go there now, they will invite you into their houses and they will provide dinner for you and look after you. It's in their DNA. It's a matter of how do you prepare them? How do you get them ready to welcome the guests? How do they look into the little details of the matter? And this is what we're trying to work on all those programs, all those initiatives, and getting them to be part of an excellent destination. So these challenges, they bring opportunities, actually. And it's up to us to take those opportunities and make them a reality. Because once you hire one person, you're changing the life of a whole family. It's not that individual that changed their lives. And we have, at the project site at the moment, in the Red Sea, for example, more than 2,500 from the local community. We have 3 local communities around us, Umluj and Al-Wajh. This is for the Red Sea. For AMAALA, you add Dhiba. These are critical towns near our cities. It's the population between 40 to 50,000 each. So, and they're ready. But we need to enhance the education system. We need to enhance a few other things in the training. Have programs, more programs. We look into what really is exciting for them. For example, a boat captain program is something that it's been in their generations in the past. Now you turn that fisherman into probably a ranger, a boat ranger, or probably into a tour guide or something. So you elevate the game that they are working on, and you provide them with the proper salary, and they will be an add-on to the destination. So the opportunity is there. It's up to us how to we market it. And we need to engage with them. We need to engage with them, visit them, see their schools, do some awareness campaigns. We hired 40 plus from the local community. They are now part of the nursery. It's the biggest nursery in the region, 25 million plants that needs to be planted in that nursery to serve the Red Sea and the AMAALA and probably other projects. And now they are part of it. We took them from the beginning. We uplifted the nursery. We gave them on-the-job training. We gave them English. And then, so we raised their game. Now they are part of the team. And it is a changing opportunity. We're changing the lives of people there. So it is a beautiful setup, actually.
So you said the communities are naturally hospitable.
Yes.
But I would say there's a difference between being a host as a person, doing it on a personal level, welcoming someone to your own home, and then making it a profession. Do you see this transition being seamless, or how are you experiencing it?
It doesn't have to be seamless. You gotta improve as you go, but you gotta start. The challenge is starting these programs actually, and start and then improve, continuously improve these programs. And as I told you, one example is the nursery. We have another example is the environment stewards. So it's been working. And our students, for example, you take them in UPM, as I mentioned, they're part of international events. Where does it started already. It's the ripple effect that happens afterwards. So the UPM, we will start to have more students, 50 every year that going forward. The vocational, 500, 1,000. And as our CEOs, we need more zeros. So we will continue to try to increase that number. But you gotta believe that this is gonna happen. And we are believers. It all starts from the vision, 2030. Okay, this is the excitement. Where you will see it glowing in everybody's eyes. Every side you will see that. It's about Vision 2030. There is a change. There is a change that's coming, and everybody's excited about it. So there is a purpose, a sense of purpose for everything that we're doing. So yes, there is a vision that we're heading towards. People, they know what is the added value that they will do. It's going to change their lives and their families' lives. So they will put their all into it and become better at it. So it is going to be successful. I'm confident of it.
Great. We're already running out of time, so I'll ask both of you one last question, the same one, starting with you, Sandeep. What is the one thing related to human capital development in Saudi Arabia? What is the one thing we should either start or do more of in order to be more successful in this area?
I would say recognition would be the first thing that comes to my mind when you say that. And what I mean by that is the fact that I mentioned a few examples of how we're seeing our leaders, local Saudi nationals, growing into leadership positions in our hotels. I think we need to recognize that. We need to recognize the fact that there are more and more people joining the hospitality industry versus what it wasn't, and make examples of them in order for others to get encouraged to join. I think the good thing about hospitality industry is that a lot of times, or majority of the times, you find people starting as a steward, a bellboy, a receptionist. I personally started in butlers, and you see a good growth where they become general managers, they become CEOs. There's a lot of internal growth in this industry. So I think we need to take these examples, recognize those people of the work they do, and then make it an example so others are here to follow. And when we're saying we see a tripling of the number of people required in an industry in this country, that recognition, that would encourage more people to join the industry and have the workforce for the future.
Ahmad, what should we do more of or start doing that we are not doing yet?
I think, listen, I think this is the best time to be in Saudi Arabia. This is the best time for Saudis, for non-Saudis. This is the best time. We've done a survey about hospitality tracks for the students, for their parents, and 9 out of 10 are interested to join the hospitality sector. So there is that eagerness to join the field. It's on us, honestly. It's on the companies, it's on the government, the Ministry of Tourism, who are playing a big role to create those jobs and create those trainings. I think we started. but it's doing more programs, increasing the numbers, adding more zeros, as I mentioned. So I think we're on the right track, and it's going to be amazing, actually.
Great.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much for your time and your insights. Found it very interesting. So, thank you. Applause.